Hey everybody, November 2025 promises to be a fascinating month as we're going to have Mars, Mercury, and the Sun in the sign of Sagittarius. Mercury is going to go retrograde and Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So we're having some sort of major redirect, returnaround, redo, reevaluation and and making sure that we're in alignment because Saturn is also in retrograde and Saturn's going to go direct at the end of the month. So Saturn and Jupiter are making this beautiful trine, Mercury in retrograde. Now, all three of these planets are going to be in retrograde, making sure that we reevaluate, we go back and we redo something from the past that we've left behind, need to redo, need to learn better, or need to integrate more in our psyche before we can go forward when Saturn stations direct at the end of the month. All right, here we are at the beginning of November with Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius. Mars is going to oppose Uranus before it moves into Sagittarius here in a day or two, which will cause some sort of upset, possibly it can be a volatile, sudden violence, sudden upheavals, and it can be a shock and awe energy, crisis energy, and degree point of Scorpio. But other than that, the month looks beautiful after we get over that hump. But Mercury is going to start going retrograde here on the 9th, and then Jupiter follows in retrograde. And Jupiter is making this beautiful trine to Saturn, and the Sun will join that trine. Venus will join that trine in the month of November, which is a beautiful backdrop of harmony, calm, peace, blessings, intuitive intelligence, connecting, reflecting these energies because we've got all this retrogradation with Jupiter in retrograde, Mercury in retrograde, Saturn in retrograde. And then with that Mercury in retrograde, we're going back, we're reconnecting with people that we need to reconnect with, that are really a part of our future, that are a part of our Dharma. Sagittarius is all about our Dharma, being on our calling, being on our purpose, following a destiny, following a destined path. And then Jupiter is blessing that with long-term opportunities and abundance and expansion. But when it's in retrograde, we're really reevaluating and we're integrating what we have learned so far and really leaning on what we've learned and really seeing if we've learned it on a psyche level, that it's integrated as a part of who we are now. Planets go direct, we learn a lot. Jupiter direct, Jupiter retrograde, we go back and we discover what we have learned, what is real, what is solid in what we have learned that we can really lean on and use for our own personal expansion. So, Jupiter retrograde, ruling all these planets in Sagittarius. The Sun's going to go into Sagittarius in the 21st of November. And Mercury will be retrograde back into Scorpio, forming another opposition to Uranus, which could bring another deep secrets, revelations, people from the past coming in. Mercury retrograde, we're reevaluating people from our past, choices we made in the past that were not necessarily put us in the right direction. People we left behind that are part of that are really supportive of our true dharmic path that we need to go back and reconnect with. Ideas, projects that we may have not felt strong enough to do or courageous enough to do. Because remember, we have a Jupiter who is ruling all of these planets in Sagittarius, squaring Chiron, giving us the courage and healing us to be initiators and to start these dharmic callings and missions, or shall we say purposes, or what we're here to do, which is going to bring the world into a better place. When we follow our dharmic path collectively, we make heaven on earth, basically. So Jupiter and Saturn is making this beautiful trine, blessing us with opportunities and rewards, you could say, from the squares that happened before with Jupiter Saturn square, where we're now starting to see opportunities in the results of our efforts that will solidify and stabilize an abundant future for us, right? But with this retrogradation, we have to go back and fix something or reconnect with someone or redo a project or come back and reevaluate something we believe. Maybe we have a new belief system. Maybe we can do something now with our new belief, with that Jupiter squaring Chiron. We have the faith in it. Now we can go back and take on a project or take on a relationship or an idea. Go back, retrieve this this good thing that is going to improve our lives and expand our lives. And now we're going to bring it back into our journey, our forward destiny. And then when Saturn goes direct here at the end of the month, it really takes us forward on that, with that new aligned, shall we say, things that we retrieved from the past, people, ideas, projects. And then we're bringing them with us forward. Now, Jupiter's going to stay in retrograde. Mercury's going to go out of retrograde in December. Saturn's going to be out of retrograde in December, but Jupiter's going to continue its retrogradation, which means we're continuing to draw on what we have internally learned, and we're continuing to integrate wisdom, knowledge, experience. And it's a long retrogradation, but it is in its abundant sign of Cancer, so it shouldn't block abundance. It should continue to feed us abundance. Only we're really leaning on what an internal wisdom that we have developed in the last. Well, all of this journey began in December 21, 2020. So we've learned a lot. We've gained a lot of wisdom in our experience and in our learning. Jupiter is about learning and growing consciousness and awareness. So we've made a lot of new awareness, new knowledge. So now when Jupiter goes into retrograde, we then apply it. We then see, did we really learn something, or was it only head deep, or did it change who we were? Now at Jupiter retrograde, we see that it has changed who we are, and we now act from that internal place of knowing rather than external. So we have two lunations, as always, every month. We're going to have a full moon in Taurus on the 5th of November. And that is going to be a super abundant full moon, 13 degrees of Taurus, super abundant full moon. Anytime you're going to get the moon in Taurus, we're really going to get some nice harvest, especially a full moon. We're harvesting, we're reaping the rewards on a full moon. We're seeing the results of some sort of a nice, abundant, strong, stable, long-term results from some sort of effort that we may have seeded in the new moon in May. So we're seeing sort of the harvest of that, and it looks very abundant and sort of we could say it's a very rich produce with a lot of nutrients, nurturing us to continue on this highly supported path that we're on by the universe, feeding us lots of richness. And then we're going to have a new moon in Scorpio on the 20th. And the new moon in Scorpio on the 20th is pretty intense because it's at the end degree point of Scorpio. So it's like kind of a crisis degree. So for some people, this could be a situation of sort of intensity, upset. But there's a crisis often at the end degree point. But again, it depends on your own personal chart, if it's giving you a harsh angle, but if not, it's a really beautiful new moon where we really clear old fears. With this Saturn, Jupiter trine, it's really supporting our forward momentum. By this point, Saturn is still in retrograde, but we're really finding some deep clearing, some purging of transformative of the fears, some deep fears that have been holding us back from taking our nice path, because it really does. This new moon is a part of that water trine, which brings us into a harmonic flow towards our destiny, a stable new future. So we're really breaking through some sort of deep fear, inner fear that's blocking our destiny with that new moon. And so this is a new moon, a new beginning from a newly healed, or shall we say, purged, brave, the end of that, because whenever you get to the end degree point, Neptune is making a trine to Neptune. So it's sort of some sort of a blessing as a result of having done some internal transformative work. We now have a new seed, a new beginning from sort of fresh soil. So very fertile new moon. And so that takes us pretty much to the end of the month there. Saturn stationing direct, I'm going to go into all the 12 signs now. Saturn stationing direct is going to bring a lot of forward momentum on top of the retrograde energy. So we get a nice, Saturn's been in retrograde, so things have felt possibly pretty blocked and slow and heavy. So then when Saturn starts moving direct, we start to feel it's a slow build momentum, which is really going to take strong traction in February when it goes into Aries. So we're realigning in these energies, getting back, making sure we're in the right path, in the right Dharmic destiny, with the right people, the right projects, the right ideas, so that when Saturn goes direct, we're in alignment, going forward with those things. And again, this is all with a reflective, with the month beginning with this retrogradation, we're really connecting with our higher selves, our souls, and really connecting with what our soul is here to do. And we're just finding the path forward, clarifying that path forward this month. And it will go very strongly forward by the we'll start to really feel a momentum start to build by the end of the month. All right, have a wonderful month. Namaste. Hey Leo, the month begins for you with Mars and Uranus opposing each other in your fourth house. So there is a chance for some sort of upset or disruption around your living situation. Again, if it is that you have to move and you have to relocate, it is to align you with some sort of dharmic destiny. So go with the flow on this one, but it is going to last about a week. And Mars does also move into your fifth house, which could bring a disruption in a friendship or connection or relationship, ending it, some sort of truth revealed about so from social media. You discover something, maybe you discover something you don't like to see on social media. It's pretty upsetting, disruptive. But again, it aligns with this trine, Mars aligned with the water trine. So this is again a liberating experience and does clear your slate, perhaps for new, better relationships if they end, or just to make, if there's a conflict in a relationship, it can be resolved. So Venus is still in Libra, so there can be peace. Um, then we're going to have this new moon in Taurus in your ninth. Oops, let's get you back in the right house here. Got to get that in there, Leo. This new moon in Taurus is going to be in your career house. So we've got this, the sun is going to be in your fourth, and then we've got this new, very auspicious new moon in your full moon in your 10th house where you're bringing harvest, reaping the rewards. Now, this could be a nice promotion or new clients, or you become more recognized. But this is a very abundant result for something you initiated, a seed you planted, either in the last new moon in Taurus in May or the year before. So, really auspicious full moon for your 10th house where the fruits of your hard work show results and bear fruit, as it were. Now, the Jupiter, then next, we're going to have Mercury's going to go retrograde here. And in your fifth house, where we go. So that's going to happen on the ninth. So then we have Jupiter stationing retrograde on the 12th in your 12th house. And it is making a very favorable connection to Saturn and all your moksha houses. You are breaking free and finding really a strong feeling of stability in your finances. You can start to see a future in what you're doing and that you can see a long-term benefits or that you're stable. And then Jupiter in retrograde is having you really reflect on internal knowledge, what you already know, and it's really blessing your career and your finances and feeling financially stable. You could qualify for a loan or business support. Again, with the activity going on in your fifth house, Mercury retrograde, a connection from the past, a relationship from the past um, comes back and involves perhaps a joint business opportunity where you qualify for funding or you get some sort of outside resources to support your dharmic path. And then you're really reflecting and focusing very deeply on what you truly desire and aligning your energies with a destiny of um, which is going to really show momentum forward in February, even although you may feel it already at the end of the month with Saturn stationing direct. Maybe whatever efforts you make to secure funding or resources feels very productive and it's working out. This is a very good blessing to your finances, living situation, and feeling emotionally secure and stable. So, and Jupiter retrograde is having you really reflect on inner woundings, deep stuff here with the 12th and 8th. This is all deep stuff coming out that's purging, that's healing and sort of bringing you confidence on your path and reflecting on how your insecurities were were preventing you from being brave to make these initiatives because fortune favors the brave. So taking risks in financial ventures, in a business venture, you're feeling like that's an okay thing to do right now and that it's going to work out. And it may still feel kind of risky and your fears may still be there, but you're going to start, when Saturn stations direct at the end of the month, you're going to start feeling the build momentum of positivity in your stability building, starting to feel like it's going forward. And then in February, we're getting really full movement forward. And this new chapter is completely starting a new 29-year chapter and involving a new liberated, emotionally brave version of you, basically. So then we are looking at the the new moon in Scorpio. So let's get that. That's going to be in your fourth house. So it's possible you do move and you have a new beginning in a living situation. But again, this is impacting your emotional center with all this moksha energy and the moksha houses. So you maybe break through a big fear and upgrade your living situation. And, maybe there's a disruption at the beginning of the month and you do have to move, but then you say, you know what? I feel confident to maybe buy and purchase a property even. So this new moon there is a new family, new living situation, or perhaps you decide to upgrade your property, spend some money, get a second out on it, and fund your Dharmic project from a second, or rebuild your house and create another room so it expands in value. Um, so yeah, so this is a beautiful month, Leo, where you are going to sort of see that your brave risks that you're taking, because Saturn's going to move back into the ninth house, in that taking you bravely into your dharmic destiny. So you really are becoming very brave and loving where your new courage is taking you into your dream destiny, what you really desire in your soul to sort of the path you really most desire to walk. And with that Sagittarius going on, with Mars, Mercury retrograde, we're really, Leos are creatives and they want to be creative. So that's kind of trining your first house. So there's some sort of creative, inspired, excitement happening in creative projects with people from the past or projects from the past coming back in to be reintegrated into your life that are really a part of your true dharmic, abundant future. All right, Leo, have a wonderful month. If you would like a personal reading, feel free to contact me at soullevels.com. And please like and subscribe if you haven't. All right, thank you. Namaste.